Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, toss salads and scrambled eggs.
There it comes, it's falling down in, and I'm gonna cautiously approach. Ooh, there it is. Oh, is it dry too?
I use my tongue to get it off the bottom. Is that what you do? I reached and grabbed with my tongue, like an iguana.
Okay. This already tastes better than that cat food made out of rabbits.
This tastes like grape nuts, and I'm not joking. I mean, like, this is grape nuts.
This is like healthy cereal.
Like, this is good. I'm going back in. Man.
It's good.
Whatever animal that this is, living the high life.
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to the very first and probably the last episode of Binging with Fish Nerd. I'm Carlos, and if you mistook this for Binging with Babish, well, you would be wrong because this is a fish keeping channel, and as you can see, I don't have a beard. Now, this episode is brought to you by our sponsors, flipaquatics.com. They are the #1 source for freshwater aquarium shrimp on the entire internet. Now, let's get started. Now, the first recipe that we're going to work on is just a simple one with Repashy gel food. This is a powdered mix, and the flavor we're working with today is called Soylent Green. But don't worry, it's not people. Now, this one is a fairly simple recipe to follow. It's pretty easy, actually. We're just going to throw some water on the stove and get a nice rolling boil going. Now, while our water's heating up, we're just going to take our Repashy mix, open it right up, and we're going to put roughly 2 tablespoons into our fancy little mixing bowl. You can put however much you want. The important thing is that you do spill a little bit on your table to make a mess to clean up later. And you want to shoot for a 2 to 3 parts water to 1 part Repashy. So since we're using roughly 2 tablespoons of Repashy, now that our water is boiling hot, we're just going to take our tablespoon and we're going to measure out 4 or 5 tablespoons of water. I like to make mine just a little bit thicker, a little bit more dense. Measure out 5 tablespoons there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our spoon, because we're not nice enough and fancy enough to have a small little whisk, and we're going to use our spoon to mix this all up, mix it in really good so that there's no dry parts. Now, as we mix this up, you will begin to notice that as you get all the dry parts out and it mixes up really well, you'll end up with kind of a nice thick paste. And then once you have that nice thick paste, we can just take our little dish and we can pour this. Well, don't pour it in your refrigerator. That would make a horrible mess. But you can just take this and set it in the refrigerator. Once it's cooled off, you'll have a nice little fishy jello ready to serve your fish. Now, this next recipe is probably one that you've seen demonstrated on the King of DIY's channel. You'll see him feed this to his fish quite often, and that is raw shrimp. I am using Meyer brand because that is my local grocery chain, and that's where I choose to buy my groceries. So that is where I buy my shrimp. Now, to prepare this, you open the bag, reach into the bag, and pull out a shrimp. You are ready to serve your fish. Now, if you have fish that don't have a big enough mouth to eat this, what you do is you take your people fingers and you break your shrimp in half. Now, if you have a fish with even smaller mouths, then you can just take and break it into smaller pieces than halves, like so. Again, using your people fingers to just break this shrimp off into bite-sized pieces. And you can do this even while the shrimp is frozen. It breaks apart nicely, and it'll thaw very quickly in the fish tank once you add it in, and it'll sink and your fish will eat it, and it'll be delicious, and they will thank you. Now, if you want to be a real fancy pants, you can actually take your shrimp and put it on a cutting board and use a big sharp knife and just cut that bad boy into little bitty pieces to serve that way, and your fish will appreciate just how dangerous and fancy you are for using a big old steak knife to cut up their food. They'll know the difference. Now, this brings us to our third and final recipe of this video, which happens to be my favorite home-cooked meal to serve to my fish, which is, of course, none other than French-style green beans. Once again, we are using Meyer brand because, again, that is my local grocery, and it's the cheapest green beans that I could get a hold of. And my fish don't care. A green bean is a green bean. You don't have to use Del Monte. But another good thing about the Meyer cans are that they have the little tab on top that you can grab and use that to open, so you don't have to have a can opener. Now, the way that we are going to prepare these green beans is first we're going to give them a little shake, and once that tab is pulled up, we will place our middle finger in through the ring of the tab and our knuckle up against the top of the can. That will give us the leverage we need to pop the tab open on top of this can. Do not, I repeat, do not pull the lid completely off of this can. You already did, didn't you? You're going to loosen that tab just ever so slightly, and then you are going to pour out your green bean juice. So we are going to pour that down our kitchen sink drain. For the purpose of this video and demonstration, I'm going to pour it into this little bowl, and I'm going to get extremely nervous that this bowl is actually not big enough after all for all this green bean juice, but luckily we are just the right size. Now we can take the top the rest of the way off this can, and we may now serve. Alright guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and again, thank you so much to our channel sponsors, flipaquatics.com. If you are not interested in making your own fish food and you prefer to buy your fish food, they do sell an assortment of fish foods. They also sell nano fish to eat your fish foods, as well as being the #1 online source for freshwater aquarium shrimp on the entire internet. So they have a fantastic selection of freshwater shrimp, and I do believe they are the only online retailer of fish and shrimp that quarantines all of their livestock for at least 30 days to make sure that there are no diseases, parasites, anything being passed on to you. They take that risk themselves instead of passing it on to you. And I've been friends with Flip Aquatics with Rob for a number of years now. They are great people. I 100% support what they're doing, and I hope you do too. So if you're interested, go check out flipaquatics.com. And once again, I will say thank you guys so much for watching. You're awesome. God bless you, fish nerds, and I'll see you next time.